Welcome to episode 5 of building a Discord bot from scratch with slash commands. Now, if you guys remember from last video, we were able to successfully get our bot to respond to a command. So all of that is good and dandy, but now it's time to get the economy aspect of this bot up and running. So let's get started, guys. So pull up your browser and go to Google to search up MongoDB. All right, MongoDB is where we're going to get our database from. Skip all the ads and just go to mongodb.com. And what you want to do is just sign up for free. So just click start free button. So you're going to want to do the whole sign up process. I'm just going to fast forward through this part, but you can even sign up with Google or GitHub, up to you, but I'm just going to go with Google. Upon signing in, it's probably going to ask you to accept the privacy policy. Go ahead and accept it and submit. After loading into MongoDB, you should be prompted with this. It says, welcome to Atlas, and you just have to answer a few questions real quick. Then it's going to say, what type of application are you building? And I will just say other, and I'll just type in Discord bot. What is your preferred language? We're going to pick JavaScript, and let's go. All right, guys, lucky for us, MongoDB, and this is the reason why we picked MongoDB, is it actually has a really nice free tier. So go ahead and pick the shared option, and this should be more than enough for your Discord bot. Now, you do have to know if you end up publishing your Discord bot and maybe the people are adding the Discord bot to their servers, that may cause a problem and you may need to upgrade your storage. But for now, since we're just building the bot and really only using it in our own server, this will be not a problem at all. So once you click create, it's going to give you the option for your cloud provider, which you can pick AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure. I'm going to go ahead with AWS, but you guys can pick whatever one you want. If you have a preference, you can also pick whatever region is closest to you. I'm going to go ahead and pick Oregon, but you guys can pick whatever one you want. Then you're going to go to the cluster tier. Again, we're going with the free forever, which is, again, so great. I can't express how great this is compared to other competitors. This is why MongoDB is really superior when it comes to Discord bot data. Now, with additional settings, you can turn on backup if you want, or termination protection. Again, that's however much money you guys want to spend on this. But for this video, we're just going to go with the free option. Then down here, we can name the cluster whatever you want. And for us, we're going to call this a DynoBot. But again, you guys can call this whatever you want. If you guys want to call it the name of your bot, if you guys just want to call it Discord bot, that's totally fine. Create the cluster, and this should take a little bit of time. All right, guys, once your cluster is loading, it's going to ask you to do a security quick start. So how would you like to authenticate your connection? We're going to say username and password. That is totally fine. Now let's create a username. So you guys can go ahead and make a username and password. And this is very important for you to get access to write stuff into your database and even read stuff from your database, as it says right here. So make sure to make a username that you're going to remember the password and remember the username. So for me, I'm going to do even more code and password. Well, I'm not going to tell you that. There we go. We're going to create. So now we have a username and password for authentication. All right, guys, now it's going to ask you where would you like to connect from. So you can either pick a cloud environment or a local environment. For this video, we're going to go with local environment, and you can just add your current IP address. Just like that, you should see your IP address right here, and we're going to click finish and close. We're going to go to our database. Depending on when you're watching this, it may ask you if you want to do termination protection, but for now, we're just going to close on that. Now we're onto the step where we're actually going to connect our database to our bot. So all you got to do is hit the connect button right here. Now it's going to ask you to choose a connection method. We can go ahead and click connect your application. The driver is going to be set to Node.js, and we can just go with the latest version. All right, for the next step, guys, all you got to do is copy this code right here. Click that button on the right. Let's go into our code and let's go to our .env file. We're going to make a new variable, and we're going to call it MongoDB underscore server. And we can just abbreviate that with SRB. Then all we got to do is paste that line that we copied from MongoDB. And remember, you have to replace password with your password to your account that you just created on MongoDB. Then you can go ahead and close out your .env file, and let's actually go down to the terminal and let's install one more thing. So what are we going to install this time, guys? We're going to install Mongoose. So this is how we're actually going to get our bot and our code to connect to MongoDB. So just get that installed. It should say 96 packages installed, depending on when you are watching this video. Then you can go into your index.js file, and let's go right here at the top. Underneath path, we can actually do const mongoose equals require mongoose. There we go. And that brings mongoose into our project. Now let's take in our new variable that we just added to the env, and we'll take that from MongoDB underscore SRV, and we can just shorten this to database. There we go. I'm going to call that database, and then we can come all the way down here right before the client logs in, and we can say mongoose dot connect. We can pass database in there. Then you can pass an object in there and type in use new URL parser, and then make that true, and then comma use unified topology, which set that to true. Save that. And we can say then, so after mongoose connects, we want to actually console log something to the terminal, just so we know that we successfully connected. So we can say console.log connected to the database. Then after that, we also want to add one case if there was a problem with the database, we will actually catch the error, and we can actually console.log the error. I think this is pretty straightforward, and Mongoose really makes this easy for us. We're just connecting to the database, adding some parameters. If that is successful, we will say connected to the database. If not, we'll say the error. There we go, guys. That's all we need for our index.js. And we can actually go into the terminal and test out if we're actually able to successfully connect to the server. So just start your bot up like normal. It will give you some notifications here, but don't worry about that. But look at that. Connected to the database, and it says ready. So remember, guys, these are just depreciation warnings about Mongoose. This is just about the code, but these are not actually errors. This is actually telling us that it connected successfully and our bot is online as normal. So that's good news. Let's go ahead and turn it off for a second. So there's one more thing we actually have to do is go ahead and make a new folder called models. And in there, you're going to want to make a new file called profile schema.js. In this new profile schema file, what you want to do is import mongoose. So const mongoose equals require mongoose. There we go. And what you're going to want to do is make a new variable const profile schema. So this is going to be the schema for every user that we have in our database. So mongoose.schema. There we go. All right, guys, this is actually where you get to pick what data you want to store inside your profile schema. So remember, this is for each user in your database. I'm going to add their user ID. So this is going to be type string. And we're going to say this is definitely going to be required. So set required to true. And then we're going to add unique is true. And basically, guys, what this means that we cannot add a duplicate into our database because user ID definitely should be unique. There never should be two entries of the same user. And if there is, that means there must be an error. So that's our first entry. And then we can also add server ID just in case we ever want to reference the server ID for each user. This should be the same for each user, but again, if you're ever using a bot that's going to go in someone else's server, then obviously the server ID would be different. And we're just going to set the required to true, and that's it. Again, it doesn't have to be unique because everyone in your server is going to have the same server ID. So guys, the next data attribute is going to be the quantity of currency that each user has on your server. So for example, if we wanted to call our currency Dino Coins, since our bot is called DinoBot, we could do that and make a type of number because it's going to be a quantity. And then we're going to make default. So default is totally up to you. For me personally, whenever a user comes into the server, I think it's better to start them off with a little bit of coins, and then instead of maybe 0 coins. So we're going to set a default of 10. So that way everyone gets a fresh start with 10 coins. And again, guys, you can call this whatever you want. If you want to call this balance, if you want to call this just coins, that's fine too. You can call it literally whatever you want and anything will work. You're just going to have to remember that when you're trying to access this data point in your server that you called it Dino Coins. For this tutorial, I'm actually going to change the name of Dino Coins to balance just because I don't want you guys to get confused with the Dino part. So I'm just going to call it balance because this is going to be the user's balance of how many coins they have. You can also call this bank or anything you want, or you can call it wallet. Whatever you want works. You guys can continue to add more data attributes if you already know what you want. But again, like I said before, we're just going to come back and add more later once we know what features we want to add. Then go below, type const model equals mongoose dot model, and then this is going to be what you want to name your database, and this is going to actually be created in your database on the MongoDB server. So I'm going to call mine DynoDB, and then I'm going to pass in profile schema in here. So it's going to try to connect to a database called DynoDB, and it's going to use the profile schema that we just created above, and then we just want to module.exports equals model. And we're just going to export that out of this file so that we can use it elsewhere. Now, once you guys have the profile schema all written out, let's go to our interaction create.js in our events folder, and let's actually import our profile model. And we can say require, and you want to take it from models/profile schema. So this is the path of the file that we just created, profile schema, and we want to call that profile model. So right below here where it says if not in chat interaction, what we're going to do is actually we're going to try to fetch the information on the current user who's using this interaction. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add a comment so that we remember this later. Get user DB information and pass to command. So that's what we're going to be doing, and we can make let profile data. And this is going to be the variable that holds all the data for the specific user that just used the command, and we're going to try to get all the information from the database on that user. And typically when you're trying to connect to the MongoDB server, you do want to put it into a try and catch. Just in case something goes wrong, it is easiest to debug if you do have your errors printing out to the console. So here we go. We're going to say profile data equals await. So remember that await keyword. So we're going to await a response from the database. So we're going to say profile model dot find one. So you can see all the commands that it has on MongoDB, but we're going to just do find one because we're only looking for one specific user. And we're going to try to match a user in our database where their user ID. So remember, this is from our database profile schema. User ID matches with the ID of the person using the interaction. So interaction.user.id. So this is going to be the ID of whoever just used the command. And we're going to see, can we find someone in the database? Now, if we can't, what are we going to do? So we're going to say if there is no such thing as profile data. So if profile data comes back undefined or null, then what we're going to do is we're actually going to want to create a profile data for them. So let's say someone try to check their balance and they've actually never been in our database before. Well, why don't we just make them a profile in our database? So now they can start contributing to our economy. So let's do profile data equals await profile model dot create. So this is, we're going to create a new entry in our profile model, and this is going to be for a new user, and we're going to set user ID to interaction.user.id. So that's going to be their user ID. Then server ID, interaction.guild.id. So the ID of the current server. And then we don't need to add anything else. This is just the required information. If I go back to profile schema, you'll just see that's the required information. And then balance is actually not required. And since we're not entering a balance, it's actually going to default to 10 automatically. So there we go. And that's actually good to go. So if the user does exist, then we're going to fetch their data. If they don't exist, then we're just going to create them a new profile. And then we can go actually all the way down here when we're executing the command. And we can also pass in with interaction, we can pass in profile data. So we're going to pass each command the data on that certain user who used the command. So for example, why don't we create a balance command right now? It should not be difficult, and we can finish the video off with the balance command. So you can actually see the Discord bot integrate with MongoDB. So let's go over to commands and let's type in balance. So this is going to be the command so users can check their balance. So remember what I said about the ping command, and you can use it as a template. So what I would do is actually just go to the ping command, click copy and go to balance and then click paste. That way you already have the slash command builder and the basic template of how it works. Now we can go to set name and we can name this balance. We can set a description and we can say shows a user their balance. And then what we can do is we can, instead of just accepting interaction, we can actually accept profile data, which we just actually passed to all of our commands. So now that we have access to profile data, we can actually take out the balance from profile data. So this way we can actually see each user's balance, and we can also pull out, if you wanted, user ID and server ID. But we will not really be needing that information, and you can also get that information from the interaction itself, so you don't really need that. What I'm going to do next is actually get the username of the user who used this command. So I'm going to say const username is equal to interaction.user.username. And then that's actually all the information that we need to do to supply the user with their balance. Then this is the message we want to respond with when someone does \balance. And we're just going to say username has balance coin. So it's going to say the username's names, and it's going to tell them how many coins that they have. And that's actually all we need right there. 3 lines just to get our balance. So let's see if it works. Let's deploy our commands again, since we just created a new command. So node deploy commands.js. Looks like it worked successfully. Then what we're going to do is start our bot up. There we go, connected to the database. Now let's check our bot and let's enter our first command. So we're going to check our balance. So /balance, and it says, there we go. We have 10 coins. Looks like it successfully responded with our balance, and it gave us a default of 10 coins. So that's a good place to stop this video, guys. So in the next video, we're going to add a daily command so that all the users are able to claim a daily and get free coins every day. So remember, now it's up to you guys of what commands you can make. I'm going to show you some more neat tricks about how slash commands work, how you can utilize them, different effects you can make. But for the basics, you already have an economy bot. So congratulations. I hope everything worked out. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I or anyone else seeing it will try to get to it as fast as possible. So see you guys in the next one.